Hi guys, I've said before that if you're going to call people like Nigel Farage racist, you need to present evidence. And unfortunately, when it comes to the leader of Reform, he's extremely slippery. Now, that's not the case with Robert Jenrick, who wants to be leader of the Conservative Party, it seems. And he's an actual racist. And here is the evidence. Have a listen.
OK, before we talk a little bit about what you're going to say at conference, I want to play you a bit of yourself, actually, Robert Jenrick, from a recording that's been published in a newspaper this morning. We'll play it. It's about Britishness, and then we'll talk on the other side.
The other thing that I noticed there was that it was one of the worst integrated places that I've ever been to. In fact, in the hour and a half that I was filming with news there, I didn't see another white face. And that's not the kind of country I want to live in. I want to live in a country where people are properly integrated. It's not about the colour of your skin or your faith. Of course it isn't. But I want people to be living alongside each other, not parallel lives.
Another white face. I didn't see another white face. Now, I'll let him respond to this in just a moment, but let that marinate in your mind for a moment. Robert Jenrick went into a community, he was there for 90 minutes, and he didn't see another white face. And he said, well, this means that there isn't integration taking place. Now, I said before, when it comes to the issue of integration, it's a two-way street. People have to integrate when they arrive in a country, but also the community has to facilitate that integration if they want to live in harmony. But Robert Jenrick is not interested in integration. He's interested in colour.
That's you talking about Handsworth as you went there to film a video. Just expand a little more on what you're saying there in that audio, Robert.
Well, look, I don't resile from those comments. I want to live in a country which is well integrated. I want people to be living side by side. I never want to see segregated or even ghettoised communities. We want people of all skin colours, of all religions, to be living in harmonious, well-integrated communities with our kids growing up alongside each other. And I'm afraid in some parts of the country, there are communities where that just isn't the case. And parts of Handsworth in Birmingham, where I was earlier the year, a place I know quite well growing up in the West Midlands, just don't resemble that. And that makes me very worried. We need to have an honest, open conversation in this country about integration, because it hasn't gone well in recent years. You know, in the last 20 years, there's been at least 6...
What have you been doing to help people integrate? Honestly, we'll get to the racist part in a moment, but what have you been doing to help people integrate? Nothing. You've been making integration more difficult because you've been demonising asylum seekers, refugees and foreigners.
Major reports by governments of all political persuasions about this challenge, and yet enough has not been done to try to tackle it. And so the remarks that you just played were me speaking to people in the West Midlands about my genuine concerns for that and how we can begin to resolve it.
Well, there's your genuine concerns, as you say, but you were there for 90 minutes. Now, Andy Street, who was mayor of the West Midlands for 7 years, heard those things and said that you're just flat wrong. He says that the area is integrated. He's a Conservative former Metro mayor as well. So why is he wrong and you right?
Well, look, I respect Andy, but I disagree with him on this issue. I do know the West Midlands well. I grew up down the road in Wolverhampton. I went to university in Birmingham, so I know the area well myself. And the concern I have in that community and in others across the country, because it's not just about one place. That was an example because I was speaking nearby, is that we're not living in a country which is as well integrated as...
OK, you've used this word integrated as well as the one that I'm interested in.
May I just make this point, if I may? There are real dangers.
Go on.
There are real dangers. If we don't live in a well-integrated community, then this can lead to serious, serious challenges. Look, just the other day here in Manchester, we saw a man who had lived in this country for 30 years, but was clearly not integrated into our society, clearly did not share British values, committing an appalling terrorist attack by going to a synagogue and killing British Jews. That is at the extreme level where failures of integration lead. And that's why we've got to have a debate about this and not have it shut down whenever anyone puts their head above the parapet and talks about it publicly.
I do wonder what integrated means for you, and I wonder how you can judge that a person is integrated by the colour of their skin, being there for 90 minutes.
Well, look, I was very clear that it's not about the colour of your skin.
You said it at the very beginning of the clip. You said you went in and you didn't see a white face. And your response to that is, well, it means that people have not integrated. So if Robert Jenrick met the reporter here from Sky News on the street, he would probably assume, well, this guy hasn't integrated because he's not white. Is that how you integrate? If you become white, you're integrated. If you're a white person, then you're automatically integrated. He's a racist. This is it. He's a racist. There's no other way of putting it. He went into a community, saw no white faces, and then automatically assumed, well, this means that people have not integrated. He wants to see white people, or he wants people to believe that he wants to see white people. He automatically believes that if you're black, well, then you're not integrated or in some way. I'm not sure. I can't seem to understand his twisted logic here. Once again, if he met the reporter on the street, he would probably assume, well, this guy isn't British because he's not white. Robert Jenrick is engaging in a type of rhetoric that Nigel Farage doesn't even engage in, or not that I've heard in a long time. You know, Nigel Farage talks about integration, about Muslims, about foreigners, about asylum seekers, but he never really goes across the threshold into racism. And here's Robert Jenrick doing it. Robert Jenrick, who wants to be the leader of the Conservative Party. He wants to take it he doesn't want to pander to Reform UK voters. He wants to pander to the BNP. He wants to pander to the National Front. This is the type of rhetoric we heard from the likes of Nick Griffin 20 years ago. You go into a community and you don't see any white faces. That means that it's been taken over by foreigners. This is exactly what we're hearing from a candidate who wants to be leader of the Conservative Party. Of course, he's trying to backpedal now, saying, no, it's not about the colour of their skin, even though that's what I said at the very beginning. No, it's about integration. He doesn't care about integration. He's pandering to the worst people in society, the worst people in the Conservative Party. And the ironic thing is, if he becomes leader of the Conservatives, then he's actually going to sink the party even to an extent worse than Kemi Badenoch. Because Kemi Badenoch is useless. He's a racist. And he's going to drive people away from the Conservatives. And rightly so. They should not be associating themselves with somebody like this. And he's also a charlatan because Robert Jenrick used to be a Remainer. Robert Jenrick used to be a moderate within the Conservative Party. But he realised, it seems, there's no progress to be made there. If you become a racist, if you become a far-right candidate, a far-right politician, then you have a better chance. And that seems to be exactly what he's doing here. And he needs to be called out. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. See you in the next video.